This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 things you should know from BIN News. President-elect Trump is seeking to dismiss his Georgia election interference case. After having 2 federal cases dismissed, he is also attempting to dismiss his New York hush money case. Trump is accused of trying to overturn the 2020 election results in Georgia. There's growing speculation about why the CEO of America's largest healthcare company was murdered in New York City early yesterday. The NYPD says Brian Thompson was targeted, and his wife mentioned he had been receiving threats. Donald Trump has nominated Paul Atkins to head the SEC following Gary Gensler's announcement to step down once Trump is sworn in. Atkins, an SEC commissioner from 2002 to 2008, was praised by Trump as a leader for common sense regulations. And Walt Disney World will unveil new experiences in 2025, including a revamped test track at Epcot, a luxury lounge inside Spaceship Earth, and a new evening parade at Magic Kingdom. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 at BINnews.com.
You're on the Front Porch with WBOK 1230 AM.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Front Porch here on WBOK 1230 AM. What New Orleans is talking about all day long. I'm your host, Kimber White Dupree.
And I'm Eddie Francis. Good morning.
And on the other side of the glass, getting us forwarded on our flight on this travel Thursday is Nyron. It is it's different weather today.
Yeah, that it is.
It's different weather today.
That it is.
What I had planned to wear, especially because it rained, I thought it was supposed to be a little cooler.
Mm-hmm. It was supposed to be cool, yeah.
And then I had to go back and rethink that whole situation and was like,
Yeah.
maybe not.
You know what sucks about working on a college campus?
What's that?
Rain.
Okay.
having to go from one building to another building
Uh-huh.
and it's raining,
Uh-huh.
like that sucks on a college campus. So yesterday, I hung out on a campus yesterday, and the forecast said it was gonna rain at 2.
Uh-huh.
So I was walking around like, "Oh, okay, well, great. Let me make sure I get from one building to the next building." And then I was like, "Oh, okay, well, it didn't rain. I'm cool." And then it rained at like 4. And I was caught out there without my umbrella or anything because I thought the rain, I thought the rain just kind of passed in a different part of the area or something like that. No,
Mm.
no. So that's the one thing that really sucks about being on a college campus or working on a college campus is when the rain comes when it's not supposed to come
Mm.
and you just stuck out there and you got to get to this next building to do whatever thing you got to do. If you're a professor, you got to get to your next building to teach.
Right.
If you're a researcher, you got to get to your lab if you're not in your lab all day. Or you got to go eat if you didn't
You
bring
have
anything with
things
you.
to do other than what's in your.
Or if you're an administrator, you're constantly walking from one building to the next building
Uh-huh.
and you are a victim of the elements. The elements, they got you. So yeah. But it wasn't bad. It was drizzling, so it was no big deal. It was fine. You know, the brown sugar didn't melt. It was cool.
Well, I hope everybody is having a wonderful start to their day and enjoying the shift in the temperature. And, come on in, grab yourself a comfortable chair, a mug or a tumbler of your favorite frosty or steamy adult beverage, and sit a spell with us here at the foot of the overpass of Norman C. Francis Parkway on the campus, the historic campus of Xavier University. Listen, I like TikTok.
You really like TikTok
I
because this is
really do.
this is the third time you have emphatically said I like.
do.
You really enjoy
I
TikTok.
like TikTok, and I like that you can curate what you see. It'll try you to see if you're interested in certain things, and then um if you don't like it or you don't stay on it, you just click it off, and it won't resend it unless you go and look for it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember it being like that when I was on Instagram. I would see things and be like, why am I seeing this? What is going on with this algorithm? Like, this is not something I'm interested in. But based on things that you like or even things that you look up, I think it attaches to like Google.
TikTok attaches to a couple of things. Yeah, but it does in some way. I am by no means a TikTok expert, so I just post videos when I can, and it's business stuff. I'm not really trying.
Yeah. So there's this guy. His last name is
there.
Parnum. He is. His dad was involved and was arrested. It was arrested in something happening with Donald Trump or whatever, and his son is like the converse of him. So he has been doing like updated, like real time news updates of things that have been going on with regards to the government, and especially with this the healthcare CEO that was killed on yesterday.
United Healthcare.
Yeah. So he is very entertaining, and it's not like you have to watch a whole program to get that piece of news. So like Parnum is his last name, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And today my new thing has been between Zodiac reports, news, what's going on in the government, and then what are the other things? College scholarships. So, and like they keep sending you, like they'll keep it concentrated with that. So I really have been enjoying TikTok, and I know I'm late because I really just have been off of social media just in general, but like I am highly entertained.
No, I mean, you're never too late. Look, the content is going to be there one way or the other. Folks who are on TikTok are really dedicated to being on TikTok. So I have an agent, and this dude has been pushing me. He had been pushing me for a while to get on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the other speakers with the bureau that I'm with, there's one who's holding out, and she is funny because she does a lot of social media stuff,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and she does a lot of personal branding stuff. And she's just like, I just don't have time for TikTok.
I think though, like when you're doing your other
Mhm.
content, and especially if it's short form
Mhm.
content, I think that would be beneficial for you because you
Mhm.
you when you do certain things, and I know you have multiple different
Mhm.
avenues that you go with the content or information that you're creating. That would be like a good platform for you for the one that you were talking about yesterday. Um, it was media related, but it was like branded around Black media something you were talking about on yesterday.
Really good question. My memory
It'll
is just
we'll figure it out.
is
We'll figure it
horrible.
out. It's fine. But yeah, for something like that and giving updates and providing information, that would be a cool platform for you to like hit updates, and then the audience that you would hit once people are like tuned into what it is that you're putting out,
Yeah.
it would pick up a lot faster.
It's a lot of work though. It is a lot of work. I mean, I have a TikTok account. I've
Uh-huh.
posted on it, and it is a lot of work. And it's work I'm busy. I'm busy with business development.
Yeah.
That's my thing. I'm a one-man shop.
Uh-huh.
So I'm busy out there chasing accounts, and I'm busy chasing business. And so being on TikTok is really not high on my priority list.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, Mike, my agent. I know you hate hearing that, but it isn't. But as far as social media is concerned, my spot is really LinkedIn. That's where I get the most traction on the stuff that I do, because I talk a lot about work, and I talk a lot about professionalism and behavior. Well, not professionalism, but I talk a lot about that sort of thing. Are you on Threads at all?
I had a Threads account, but since I'm not on, I deleted all of it off my phone.
Oh,
So I had a Threads, and I liked Threads more than I liked Twitter then.
oh yeah. Twitter
But I
sucks.
did get a Blue
Or
Sky
X.
account,
I
and
love
I'm
Blue
just
Sky.
trying to like see how this goes. But
Oh,
it's
I love
like
Blue Sky.
I
I
am not
love it.
on it long enough to really say what's like. It's telling me right now. I'll just open it. It says I need to like 10 posts and follow 7 accounts, and that's how much I'm not
Yeah,
on there.
so the people who I had a community with on Twitter when it was Twitter, we've all migrated to Blue Sky, and we've been on Threads too. The thing that's so funny to me about Threads, they ought to change the name of Threads to Thirsty Threads.
Oh,
Because the people on Threads are just thirsty. Like everybody's like, I don't have enough followers, and it's like, what are you, a child? People are complaining about not having enough followers, and they get upset when nobody likes their stuff. Oh, and here's the other thing about Threads: everybody has an unpopular opinion.
oh,
Everybody,
okay.
unpopular opinion. Not everybody has to go to college. Duh. I mean, and
I've seen a couple of those conversations.
I'm like, y'all are some thirsty people.
I've seen a couple of those conversations, or at least monologues about it. And the funny thing is, no, everybody does not have to go to college.
No, it's the unpopular
But,
opinion thing. It's the unpopular. Everybody who
are
has
you
an
independently wealthy? Do you have a skill? What's
Ev-
your alternative plan?
everybody who has an unpopular opinion
It
on
goes on
Threads is popular,
Oh, okay.
and I'm like, they are so thirsty.
It's so unpopular and popular at the same time.
Yeah, but these people,
It's a common thought.
unpopular opinion.
Mm.
Not all black folks are alike. It's
Oh,
like, come on,
Lord.
man, stop it. Are you really that
Oh.
thirsty for followers?
Well, is it so I think the whole thing behind
They ought to change the name to Thirsty Threads.
I think the whole thing on social media, and the thing that the idea that it has created is attention seeking. So that's all across the apps.
Well, okay. So if we go back to the original idea of a social network,
Mm-hmm.
the original idea was just for people to connect with one another. It was just that simple.
Mm-hmm.
Like when Facebook, you had to have a college, you had to have a
College.
.edu extension,
Yeah,
a college
uh-huh.
email address. And then Twitter was people just connecting and talking about what was going on. And I remember when a tweet used to begin with, Eddie is, and then you had to write what you were doing at that
But it
minute.
was only a certain amount of characters you could use.
And you only had 140 characters, but it was funny. Eddie is, and it was like eating Chinese food, and everybody thought that was just the greatest thing ever. But the original idea was for people connecting with one another, and then people decided they wanted to market on social media, and that's when all the thirst trapping started. Like that's when people started getting really desperate for attention, and everybody was just. Like it was so funny. Have you ever had somebody ask you why you don't follow them?
No.
I've had people ask, why don't you follow me?
Now, I've had people ask me, do I follow you? But not why don't I follow you?
No. There are people who will straight up. They used to. I remember they used to ask you, "Hey, I follow you. How come you don't follow me?" That was a pretty awkward moment because it was just like, because I don't.
That's some confirmation about one of the astrological things that I saw this morning about my personality. Like,
yeah, I was just like, I'm
very disinterested in a lot of things.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
but strong opinions on others.
I didn't realize that following you was a requirement of my life.
Yeah. I don't know. People are weird when it comes to all of the social medias. I tried Snapchat for a little while. I think that
never created a
too
Snapchat
much.
account.
And I got the Snapchat because Instagram didn't have the filters, so you had all the cool filters on Snapchat. So you take your picture, you download it, and then you switch it over to Instagram, and then that became too cumbersome, and it was just like whatever. But yeah, at this particular point, I'm just I am voyeuristic on social media versus like actively posting, because for years I was an active poster. And now I'm just like happy to watch the parade.
You know, I've noticed that I've spoken to a few Gen Zers who have said, I don't have a social media account, which I'm proud of y'all because
or they have self-control about it.
Don't get sucked into the vortex. But I mean, I think that's very interesting. My son he's not a big social media person. He does his art on it and that's it. He's not really trying to make friends.
They have a different relationship too with technology.
They do.
They were birthed into it.
Yeah.
We acquired it over time. But yeah, and I'm glad that they have the self-control that we as Gen Xers tend not to necessarily have as a unit. But we got to take this break. Stay tuned to the Front Porch right here on WBOK 1230 AM. What New Orleans is talking about all day long.
Hey, this is Dave Poston. Be sure to listen to WBOK 1230 AM every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. and Sunday evening at 5 p.m., bringing you the best Southern Soul barroom music with the Southern Soul Weekend Party Mix, hosted by me, of course. I'll be playing your favorite Southern Soul music by artists from all over the South, right here on WBOK 1230 AM or online at WBOK1230.com. The station you listen to longer. Listen to longer. Listen to longer.
I'm Daryl Forges with WDSU News, and here's your headlines. We're learning more about the armed robbery with one suspect dead and another behind bars. The shooting all happening in New Orleans East in the 8400 block of the I-10 service road at Sam's Meat Market Tuesday night. The NOPD says the worker who fired those shots is not facing any charges right now. This morning, New Orleans police are still searching for a suspect after an NOPD officer opened fire near the French Quarter. It all happened on Basin and St. Louis streets just after 6:30 last night. We're told officers spotted a car matching the description of a stolen vehicle. The NOPD has not named the officer involved in the shooting, how many shots were fired, or if the vehicle they were following was the actual vehicle reported stolen. Now, this comes as the NOPD is also investigating two separate shootings that happened yesterday. So far, we know one person was killed and another hurt. These shootings happening off of Whale Street and Bullard Avenue. The two close by, but no word on any possible connection. But if you have any information on any of these situations, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers. You know the number, 504-822-1111. I'm Daryl Forges, and that's your headlines for WBOK. Have a wonderful day.
Tired of the impersonal, one-size-fit-all style of banking? You deserve a bank that delivers exceptional service and personalized attention to your needs. That's the Home Bank Standard. Since 1908, Home Bank has been a trusted financial partner for businesses and families because we go the extra mile to help you reach your goals. See for yourself why Home Bank is good for business, good for life. Stop by any New Orleans area location or find out more at home24bank.com. Home Bank, member FDIC.
Metropolitan Human Services District wants to remind you that treatment is effective and everyone can recover. If you are looking for a recovery program and you live in the Orleans, St. Bernard, or Plaquemines Parish, visit mhsdla.org or call 504-568-3130. Recovery is possible, and MHSD is here to help. Metropolitan Human Services District, where we change lives.
Hi, this is Congressman Troy Carter. I ask that you join me in voting for Eric Doc Jones for Orleans Parish School Board District 2. Eric Doc Jones is a career educator with whom I've had the pleasure of working together on many issues of importance for our community and is ready to serve as our next school board member on day one. I proudly endorse Eric Doc Jones for Orleans Parish School Board District 2. Eric Doc Jones is number 12 on the ballot.
Paid for by the committee to elect Eric Doc Jones, number 12.
WBOK and LCMC Health are proud to present the Keeping You Well Cafe, 60 minutes of LCMC Health, where doctors speak directly to the people of New Orleans. LCMC Health is committed to improving the quality of health care in the New Orleans area, the Gulf South, and beyond. The Keeping You Well Cafe is another way for LCMC Health to engage with the community. Over the next few months, LCMC Health will join WBOK and local businesses to answer your health and wellness questions. Through this partnership, LCMC Health will provide resources to the community, including subject matter experts from the hospitals that will share expertise on health concerns and wellness practices to help you live your best life. Tune in to WBOK during the last hour of the reality check, or catch us at lcmchealth.org and follow us on social media.
Hey, this is Don, marketing consultant with WBOK. I want to send a special thank you out there to all of our listeners, all of our supporters. I want to send a happy holidays out to everyone in the whole city of New Orleans. Enjoy your family time and be safe.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM. You're on the front porch with WBOK 1230 AM.
WBOK 12:30 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about all day long. I'm your host, Kimber White Dupree.
And I'm Eddie Francis. Good morning.
And on the other side of the glass, we have another trio. It is Nyron, Justin, and Hannah. Good morning on the other side of the glass.
Cool.
You got to see some of my my TikTok adventures just now. And Aaron Parnas is the guy who I was telling you about, whose dad was arrested in a situation regarding the Trump administration and has gone to jail. But and he's a really, really young guy. Like, he graduated from high school early, went to college and law school, and was out like by the time he was maybe 22.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Look at
And
him.
he is completely in convex version of who his father is. And I love that for him.
Okay. Okay.
I love that for him. Good morning to our people on the front porch. We have, good morning, Miss Joyce, DiCaprio, I'm on day 3 of Chapeaux. Hey, Josh, good morning. I am not stealing out of Graylin's hat closet. This belongs to me. Good morning, Cam. Good morning, Lori. Good morning to Earl Swami Nelson. Good morning to Ty. How are you? Good morning. And Josh, you're gonna need time out in a second. You gonna need time out in a second. I'm serious.
Yeah.
When Josh said, he said, our generation has a social media account because we're a nosy generation, and Cam followed up with nosy, need validation, etc. And
Wait, which generation?
our Generation X, he's an X.
Oh, Gen X?
Yeah. He said we have social media accounts because we're a nosy generation, but Cam followed up with nosy, need validation, etc.
I'm not so sure I agree with any. I mean, yeah, that's part of it, but I would also use the term curious. I think we're a curious generation. I don't think that's a bad thing to be curious. We're intellectually curious. I think that's a great thing to be intellectually curious.
We've been left alone a lot, and we are left to our own devices. We are nosy.
I choose intellectually curious because I mean, yeah, you can be nosy, whatever, but I do think intellectual curiosity is a big part of it. And I think another part of it is we want to see what's going on. I mean, we want to try stuff out. Think about it. Think about it this way. I started college in 1988. Okay. When I started college in 1988, there was no such thing as an ATM.
Shut up, Justin.
There was no such thing. Well, I mean, I'm a vintage human being. So, I'm about to learn y'all something right now. Okay, so children sit around.
No.
Sit around class.
Not to me. I was in middle school.
Children sit around.
Wait a minute.
So when I started college, there was no such thing as an ATM. By the time I left college, there were ATMs all over the place. When you needed money, you went to the bank. You took out a certain amount of money.
Or you wrote a check, $20 or a certain amount of money over.
Yeah, you wrote your check for whatever you wrote your check for, but then you budgeted whatever money you needed.
Correct.
When you ran out of money, that was it. You were just done. And that money that you put in the bank, whatever you deposited in the bank, that was it. By the time you left, then you had ATMs. But then you had all these other technological advances. People were not using cell phones. By the time I left college, people had started using cell phones. So I say all that to say that what's happened in our generation, in Gen X, technology has advanced rapidly, and we've watched it. Like, we have watched. I love the memes when people. As a matter of fact, I actually did a presentation about social media for a group of students, and I talked about the fact that if you wanted to go get a video, if you wanted to record somebody doing something, you had a big old camcorder, you had a tape recorder with tape in it. And then if you wanted to write a message to somebody, you wrote the stuff down on a piece of paper and you handed people your message.
And you folded it very creatively.
By the time you left, it was a cell phone. It was a smartphone. Or by the end of the 90s, it was a smartphone, right? So we have watched technology advance very quickly, Gen X. And I think as a result of that, we have become very curious about a lot of things. And a lot of us who are business people, and I'm not going to say us because I just became a business person, but a lot of Gen Xers who became business people early in their careers had to adapt very, very quickly. And so social media was a big part of Gen Xers having to turn things around immediately. Like we had to mentally shift extremely quickly. So yeah, you can say nosy, you can say validation. I choose to say that we are a very intellectually curious generation.
So nosy in long form.
That is not nosy and long. Well, you about to make me cuss. You about to make me cuss. You're about to make me cuss.
Quite
Seriously, about to make me cuss.
honestly,
I choose. You know what? I'm standing on business that I'm choosing the term intellectually curious, and I'm extraordinarily serious about it because I don't know. Nosy is messy. Nosy is immature.
And
nosy is you
that.
got no business of your own. I don't think that's what that is. I think what we are. Excuse me. I think what we are is intellectually curious, and I think we need to be extremely serious about that because we have had to adapt extremely quickly. Now, what are we doing? We're running around having to explain critical thinking to people. Mm-hmm. Now we got to explain it. When I got to Dillard University as the director of communications and marketing, I saw critical thinking in the mission statement. And I said, do we really have to put this in a mission statement? It's a college. Well, as it turns out, we did have to put it in a mission statement because people think intellectual curiosity and nosiness are the same thing. It's not the same thing. It is not. It's not even close to the same thing. So there you go. Intellectually curious. That's what I think we are.
Okay.
Above a lot of other things. I know you think this is all cute and everything, but that's what it is.
Okay.
But go ahead, finish the show. Do your thing.
Okay. I'm going to go back to the comments. When we go, Melanie says she likes the hoodie. I said the same thing this morning when I got here.
Thank you. Appreciate
Cam
you.
says some folks are just insecure and want to be seen. Yes.
Absolutely.
And some
I
folks
agree with that.
are just nosy. And Josh says nosy, not messy. Talking about what you've seen while looking. Let me go back to this. Talking about what you've seen while being nosy is messy.
Okay, that's cool.
All right. Cool.
Y'all won. Go ahead. Do your thing. Y'all won.
I think though on social media, especially with our generation, we have been left up to our own devices for a very long time. So curiosity, yes, for sure. Nosy, yes, too, because we are the mix of the boomers and we are the innovators of what comes behind us, Gen Z, Gen something.
Gen Y, millennials.
Okay, so Gen Y, we are what made them lazy. So we had the hard work of doing stuff and overworking that our parents and grandparents did, and then now once we got into while adapting and learning new things, we've gotten lazier, and we have created a generation of lazier, but some.
Mm-hmm.
But some, while they are very, they have things at their fingertips, they have less hustle.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that.
So, we are the sweet spot between the two generations, and I'm hoping that my daughter says she is not Gen Alpha, she's Gen Z. Now, she barely made it in Gen Z, I think. According to
she's
guidelines,
she would be Gen Z.
Barely.
Yeah, I think Gen Alpha, they were born around 2012 or something.
Yeah, she's 2008. She barely made it.
Let that girl be Gen Z. Goodness gracious.
I'm hoping that Gen Z has figured out by paying attention to the millennials that they have a lot more discipline when it comes to technology and social media. But what they miss is like you were saying, writing notes and the whole pen and paper, the typewriter situation, the the analog version of things.
So,
because if they don't have technology, they are completely lost.
So one of my nephews, this was one of the funniest conversations I had. One of my nephews, when he was in high school, he was trying to learn me something. So he was at a football game. He was exchanging numbers with a girl, and he couldn't find a number. And I said, "Oh, okay. Well, what happened? Did you write it down?" He said, "No, I lost it." I was like, "Oh, okay, whatever." And I said, and I joked and I said, "Hey, that's why you keep a pen and paper with you." And he said, "Uncle Letty, nobody writes numbers down anymore."
Wait, what?
And I said, "Oh, really? I wasn't aware that." I said, "Well, you know how to write, don't you?"
Uh-huh.
And he said, "Yeah, but Uncle Letty, nobody writes anymore." And he said that. And I said, "Oh, okay." Well, I said, "Well, if you want a number, how do you get it?" "Well, if she writes it down, she could give you a fake number." And I was like, I guess,
I mean,
okay.
she can put it in your phone and give you a fake number.
So then he said, the way we get the numbers is by letting her put her number in your phone, and that proves that it's the right number. I said, "Oh, okay." I said, "What if she lies to you then?" Well, no, if it's her, no, I'm sorry. He said, if she gives me her phone and I put my number in it, then I know she has my number and we exchange phones. We know we have each other's number. I said, "What if she have somebody else's phone?"
That is a good idea.
And he goes, "What?" I said, "What?"
That's a good idea.
I said, "You don't know girls very well, do you?"
If you don't want to give a guy your phone number, just make sure you switch phones with your friend.
Yeah.
And you give him that number, and
Yeah.
he could even verify it. But then when it's time for him to,
Yeah.
because I know I have definitely given the wrong phone number. I've given people Domino's, Pizza Hut,
Exactly.
a cousin's phone number written down. And you got to be quick on it, because if you take too long to think about the number, then you've been caught in your lying. But
It was the funniest thing.
I'm gonna have to ask my children about
But
that.
the thing that was so funny is that he thought I was the idiot for thinking that she would switch phones with a friend.
I like that. I like that.
I was like, "You don't know girls very well, do you?"
I like that.
And he thought he knew girls better than I did, too.
Yeah, I've given people payphone numbers.
I told him that stuff. I was
Yeah.
like, when I was in high school, girls, if a girl didn't really like you, she would give you every number but hers.
Yeah.
She would give you grandparents' numbers.
Absolutely.
She would give you, like you said, Domino's numbers. I was
Absolutely.
a pizza place number. I was like, they would give you every number except their own number.
And don't talk about when Caller ID came out.
Oh, please.
Because phone screening, and also, Fred's Morgue, you kill him, we chill him. Such and such. How may I help you? Like, I'm going to have to ask my kids about that.
Earl Swami Nelson said on Facebook, dial-a-joke used to be the number to give out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or the number that you used to call for the time. Do they still have that number? Is that still a
I don't
thing?
even know. They don't dial-a-joke anymore. But no, I have no idea.
Yeah, that would be really funny. I'm gonna ask my kids if they do that, or would they do that? If
Again.
somebody you don't want to talk to, you just
I
you
laughed.
You trade phones with your friend. Matter of fact, you trade phones with your brother.
Yeah.
Trade phones with your brother. Give him your number, and every time he calls, give him your brother.
Well, or if you got yourself a little burner, But yeah,
that is funny.
Like I said, I thought it was ridiculous for an institution of higher learning to have "we teach critical thinking" in their mission statement. As it turns out, that is absolutely a need, and one of the number one complaints that employers have right now is that the workforce, they see a decline in critical thinking in the people they're hiring for jobs.
Yeah, they're the point and click kids.
I mean, it's
the robots that you used to wind up and then you set it. If it gets to a wall, it just keeps going to the wall. Like they need to be shifted. And yeah, some kids are like that. But we are the we are the generation that kind of has perpetuated that, because I'm looking in the comments right now. They're talking about how people memorize telephone numbers, like numbers you had to memorize. Your home number, your grandparents' number. You had to know your address. You needed to know, emergency contact telephone numbers. Because remember Form 44s? Form 44s that you had to fill out every semester or every quarter. And that information you needed to know. Nobody was carrying a binder of information for you to fill those things out. But with the advent of cell phones and other digital and technological advances, you're not relying on your is it your RAM? That's your long story, or your Rom. Which one of those things?
The Ram.
The fact that I'm even remembering
I was
that.
about to say Ram and Rom. That's oh goodness.
You know what I'm saying? Like your long term versus your short term memory. That whole thing that you're able to, that you're able. Those were things that were necessary. Now you don't have to do that, so they don't get the same mental jousting that is required. Look, Josh said he even remembered everything but his blood type, and you should know that, sir.
Yeah.
You should know that.
Yeah, that is one of those things you should know.
Yeah, and the leading of things. I don't want to say that this happens everywhere, but it does happen a lot where we don't give wait time for them to figure it out. And if you wait too long, either the person who's waiting for the answer gets frustrated and gives it to them, which again shortens the thought process. And a lot of parents have shortened the steps for many of the kids, which has also kind of crippled them. Something is, and we keep going back to this. Something as simple as kids taking a bus from place to place. You had to figure out which lines would take you, which routes would take you different places. You needed to know on what schedule. You needed to know what time that last bus was going to go. And then there was no such thing as kids carrying debit cards.
Oh yeah,
credit cards.
Yeah, my parents wouldn't
you
let me.
You got $5-10.
Yeah, my parents wouldn't let me do that.
And Smokey Mama said, make it enough.
I don't think I got my first debit card till I was in my 20s.
Oh,
probably I was in my 20s.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Because I was just conditioned to not have one. I actually know people though. I have one friend who he'll sign up for a debit card and he doesn't use it. He said he hates using his debit card. So he will take the debit card. Actually, he told me he cuts it up. He'll get the debit card and he'll cut the debit card up. And he just likes sticking with the system of cash. And he uses cash as much as possible.
That makes sense.
He has emergency credit cards.
But not debit cards.
But not the debit card.
That makes sense.
It makes perfect sense,
And it was a transition for us, too, because we are, I think, the last generation who consistently use things like checks and checkbooks and then like transitioning to the debit card and then the accessibility to your accounts versus having to wait for your monthly statement. That check reconciliation for kids, it ain't really a thing no more.
Oh man,
you're not doing that like that no more.
I actually still write checks.
I do too. I mean, don't say that. Say it with your whole chest. You write checks. Yes. Say it with your whole chest. We gotta take this break, y'all. Stay tuned to the Front Porch right here on WBOK 1230 AM. What New Orleans is talking about all day long. Welcome back to the Front Porch here on WBOK 1230 AM. What New Orleans is talking about all day long. I'm your host, Kimber White Dupree.
And I'm Eddie Francis. Good morning.
And on the other side of the glass, this time it's only Justin and Hannah.
I was about to say,
Let me tell you
what do you mean?
something. We either have a full house because we had Wick, Hannah, Justin, and Nyron. And we is Ronnie, Bobby, Rick, and Mike.
Yeah.
On the other side of the glass most times.
Yeah, they party hardy over there sometimes.
They do. Shout out to Justin for bringing us some Halloween candy.
Wine candies.
Wine candy.
Yup.
Suckers. I like wine candy. Who does not like wine candy? Do I know anybody who does not like a Jolly Rancher?
You know, when I was living in Dallas, I said something about wine candy. And somebody said, what do you mean? And I said, wine candy. I said, all right, well, to you, it's a Jolly Rancher. And they're like, are you from New Orleans? And I said, you better watch what you say next. I was like, you better watch what you say. Watch what you say next. Because it was somebody from Dallas, and some of them get kind of
persnickety.
They some of them got a little too much to say sometimes, and
I like that.
And there's so many New Orleanians in Dallas that now they understand that there are rules when you talk
watch
to
how
us.
You talking to me.
Yeah, it's like watch how you. Well, it's like listen, this we
watch how you talking to me.
Just
might
watch
be
what you
in
gotta
danger,
say.
baby. What you say, Justin?
I second that in my time in Dallas. That
No way, the volume.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you a little bit.
Okay. What about now?
You
Sounds
second
good?
which part?
All right. No, what you were saying in Dallas, because I'm a fairly large guy, I think, right? So I try to not come across as a large guy, but sometimes you gotta be like, wait, hold on. Hey, like that's
watch how you talking to me.
Yeah,
and then they be like, oh no, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. No, you meant it. You just didn't think I was gonna say something.
You said it. So I was. So I remember the first fraternity chapter meeting I went to. Most of the brothers in that chapter were from Dallas. So when I stood up and said I was from New Orleans, there was this grown in the room, and I looked around like, what?
I'll fight all y'all.
Right. I was like, I'm here, and I paid my dues. What y'all got to say? And then I went to another chapter. I moved to another part of the metro, so I went to another chapter. And then they were, well, where'd you go? I was like, nah. Y'all had something to say the first time I got in here, so don't talk now. Don't ask where I went. I went where I went.
You'd be surprised that people, they always have something to say about people from New Orleans, but they always want to be around people from New Orleans.
Yes. Yes. All the time. Saw that all the time in Dallas. Oh, we can't stand New Orleanians. Now watch us throw something. Watch us throw an event. Watch us cook. Oh, you got gumbo? No, go ahead, eat your fake gumbo. Eat your fake Dallas gumbo. But I will say this. Now, one thing I do miss a lot about Dallas has an underrated restaurant scene. Very underrated.
Okay.
They do, because you can get so many different types of cuisine. That's the thing. So like there are a lot of Ethiopian restaurants, a lot of Indian restaurants. I love Indian and Ethiopian, and there were a lot of those types of restaurants. Of course, there's a lot of Tex-Mex, but there are a lot of different other types of restaurants, and I will say that having to have so many. Now, of course, a lot of them they a lot of them tried the Louisiana or the New Orleans thing. It was like, y'all, some of y'all got close, some of you, but no, I mean, I do miss that part. I miss that part too. And the other thing I will say I miss about Dallas is that for them, business is business. Now, when they're ready to when it's time to deal with some green, money is business, and they will get down to you. They will put personal feelings aside to make some money. They will do that. And I respect that. I got mad respect for that. Here, people will lose all kinds of money.
Relationships.
People lose all kinds of money over feelings.
Yeah, hands down. The one thing that did bother me in Dallas, though, there were a lot of New Orleans style places.
Oh, yeah.
In Dallas.
Lots.
You liked that?
No. I said that bothered me.
Oh, it bothered you.
New Orleans style, it's not really New Orleans.
Emphasis on style.
If I'm not eating at somebody's house that's from New Orleans, I'm not going to a restaurant that says it's Cajun,
Yeah.
or New Orleans inspired,
Yeah.
anywhere, I'm not doing it. I'm not gonna do it. I've been disappointed. I've tried it. There's some places in the city that I won't order gumbo from because, no, that just ain't it. And that's unfortunate, but I know what real food is supposed to taste like.
I'm very proud of my wife. My wife is from North Carolina, and she has become a harsh food critic.
Very good.
She has. And she one day I forgot where we went, but I don't know. We went somewhere and we had whatever dish we had, and she just got this look on her face, and I said, "Oh, you don't like it?" And she said, "No, because this isn't like such and such from such and such a place," and da 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 da. And she said, "Something about the seasoning is off." And I said, "Oh," I said, "Be still my beating heart." I said, "You are now a New Orleanian. Now you're talking about people's seasonings."
I love that for her.
I do too.
I love that for her.
Yeah.
So Hannah, our lovely intern, is from Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
It's from where?
Dallas.
Oh, you're from Dallas?
And I think it was John Smokehouse.
So have you run across New Orleanians in Dallas, and they're kind of
New Orleanian inspired places versus
no.
New Orleanians?
New Orleanians in Dallas.
Not really, honestly.
Okay.
But
so you haven't seen the Thunder?
No, I was listening to what you're saying. I wish I could.
Say again.
I said I was hearing what you were saying about, but I will say I feel like a lot of people do they are just people in general like to hear when they want to know people from New Orleans, but when they actually hear,
You got to turn up the volume because we can't.
The speakers are a little low.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
No, can't hear you.
About now?
Oh, now, yes. Okay, so I'm sorry. Run that back.
Like when you hear like what you were just saying, when people hear, "Oh, you're from New Orleans," it's like, but at the same time, they still want to be not from New Orleans, but be associated with New Orleans. Anything.
And that was the thing that was so funny to me. I was like, dang, man, you talk junk about me, and then and then I do something, and you're like, oh, so wait, what's going on?
Yeah.
You got some of that good gumbo, and I'm like, pause. Pause.
Oh, Lord have mercy. That's funny. I am not a very sizable person. I am not very tall by any stretch of the imagination, but I promise you I'll knock everything over. When you start talking about New Orleans, I have no problem. I talk like I'm taller than I actually am. I do. And you don't have to nod.
We had a conversation about that yesterday.
Well, listen, I mean what I say. I do. I am not faint of heart at all. But, when it comes to New Orleans, I can say what I want to about New Orleans, but you had better not.
I mean, people all over the country found out after Katrina.
Yeah, you had better not.
The entire country found out. So, Hannah, what part of are you from Dallas proper or where?
I'm from North Dallas,
North Dallas. Okay,
yeah.
All right. So, Plano or
Frisco, Prosper.
Oh,
yeah.
You're from way up there.
Yeah.
You're almost from Oklahoma.
Oh,
yeah, no.
No, seriously. So
Yeah.
So Hannah, tell me about this. The running joke in Dallas is that the Metroplex is soon going to be touching Oklahoma.
Yeah,
because they're developing farther north. Yeah.
It's almost like an hour and a half, 2 hours from where I live.
Yep.
To the city?
No,
from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
And it takes about an hour to get from one end of Dallas to the other.
Yeah, it takes
that traffic
an hour.
Is horrible. I know. I am quite aware. But not just Dallas. Texas is so wide.
Yeah, it is. There's nothing but land in Texas.
If you're going within your subset, like if you're in the Woodlands, make sure everything that you need is in the Woodlands. If you're in Katy, make sure that everything that you need is in Katy.
Oh, yeah.
But once you venture into the city, you're just going to be sitting. So be prepared for that. Pack your patience. We got to take this break, y'all. Stay tuned to the Front Porch right here on WBOK 1230 AM. What New Orleans is talking about all day long.
Marta Awores, mi por entregado por mi corazón. Que día lo mi honor.
Welcome back to the Front Porch here on WBOK 1230 AM. What New Orleans is talking about all day long. I'm your host, Kimber White Dupree.
And I'm Eddie Francis. Good morning.
And on the other side of the glass, we had Caleb, Hannah, and Justin and Nyron. Told you, we keep it quiet over there.
Yeah, I see that.
Or at least a glee club on the other side of the glass. It's always a group. We are coming back from the break, and of course, it is Travel Thursday. And where are we traveling? 504-582-9422. Good morning, Pam.
Good morning, Front Porch family. How are y'all?
Doing well.
Doing good. How are you?
Oh, doing just wonderful. I just wanted to try to take a early guess.
All righty.
Are we traveling possibly to Portugal?
Portugal. Are we traveling to Portugal? I like how you're thinking, though.
Thank you. I just love that buzzer. I mean, it's just so hard. It cracks me up. Lord, it doesn't take much to crack me up, but that's a good one. Okay, I'll keep trying, guys.
All right. No problem. Have a good one.
Okay.
I was laughing at that, and I lost my train of thought of what it was that I was going to say.
I really love that it doesn't take much to crack Pam up.
The heartiness of her laugh is always uplifting.
I know it is. It is. Like that's just joy.
It is.
That's joy. I love joy.
That is definitely joy. Josh said it's pretty much the sounds of blackness behind the glass. You ain't wrong.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
You ain't wrong. So, Andrew Schultz, are you familiar with him?
No, go ahead.
He's a comedian, and he is one of the people that was granted space in the cookout by Charlemagne, and he has made jokes at the expense of Black women. And there was a line in one of the songs from the GNX album was, "Never let a white comedian make fun of Black women. That's law."
Okay.
Now, he didn't say a name, and
Well, he wouldn't. Shows wouldn't be the only one.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Gary Owens.
But a hit dog hollers. A hit dog hollers. And it was really interesting that he spoke. Like, there are people who say things about me and to me, say things about me all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know that they're talking about me because you're not talking to me.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, bad attitude, talk hard, that can apply to so many different people. But unless you say Kimber talks hard, you're not talking about me unless you're talking to me.
Mm-hmm.
So a response. Well, Gary Owens did respond, but I wanted to bring up this whole thing about.
But you were talking about Schultz himself.
Yes. And so a part of his reply, he says, rappers are telling comedians we need to be more respectful to women, so we got to sit back and reflect, he said sarcastically. Nobody has respected women more through art than rappers. Now, he has a point there.
Oh, he does.
He has a point there. However, he goes on to say, so I completely understand how a rapper could look at a comedian telling a joke and be like, yo, you need to switch that up. How dare y'all keep saying your wives are annoying, be more like us. And used a line from, it was either from the NWA first album or a line from Ice Cube. I can't remember exactly, but he said that, using that line as a I guess, example of what he meant, you know, being facetious. And then he went on to, of course, talk about Kendrick's lyrics, and technically speaking, if we're going off grammatic English, he's saying I can talk about black women. He's basically saying all white comedians should talk about black women. So back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But this is what really got me annoyed, mainly because black people keep giving white people access to us and giving them green passes, and then when they show their behinds that rhymes with passes, we get up in arms. So he continued on and says that Kendrick's people and his security, they will destroy me, but just Kendrick, I would make love to him, and there's nothing he could do about it. Just Kendrick Lamar, I would make love to him, and the only thing he could do is decide if it's consensual or not. And that piece right there is what I always say. When people make them little light comments that there's some truth to how they feel, stop giving them access to us. And they had this one black guy who's in the video who's doing this forced laughter. And I'm like, seriously? You think that him talking about smashing a black man is okay with you? And it's like one of them, it wasn't even like a organic laughter. It was like complete.
Yeah.
And it was like, for real? This is what you gonna do with that? And he continues to say there's nothing he could physically do to stop that besides put his legs in the air and choose a position. I would go so far to say he couldn't stop most people on the planet from having sex with him. Listen, we really, really, really do have to be mindful about people we are giving access to our community with, because his joke about he's the guy who made the joke about why do men, why do black men grow facial hair why do white men grow facial hair and then shave their head when they're dating a black woman? Because they need padding for their face, because basically saying black women are violent. So again, we keep inviting people and giving them the green light, but he again, that's another pass and another dig. He did it to black women. Now he's doing it to black men. And who gave him access? Charlemagne gave him an extended platform. And then the dude that was laughing, men that I know that you talking like that, first of all, they call you all kind of words that are synonymous with being gay. We're talking about having sex with another man. And then secondly, why can't we have the conversation about why it's inappropriate for you to talk about black women, especially if you've been invited to this? Come here, know how to act while you're in a place that you've been invited to. And that, for me, like, it sent me. It really, really sent me.
Yeah. So let's go back to the Chris Rock slap. One of the arguments I made about that at the time was the unfortunate thing when it comes to comedy is that a lot of rules are just out of the door when it comes to comedy. But since that, a lot of comedians have recognized that while the rules may be out of the door, there are people who are going to set you straight one way or the other. And I think a lot of people come to he should step carefully. He should step very carefully, because I do think, and I know that there are people who have this view with comedy that you can either punch up or punch down in comedy. Punching down is just basically having no code, no morals, no ethics, no nothing. And you pick on people who are, not defenseless, but you pick on people you just really shouldn't pick on. And then punching up is when you joke about people who really can take it, and they're built for it, and you assess that. But, the thing is that I agree with you. I mean, I do think you have to be careful of who you, quote unquote, invite to the cookout. There's a guy who I had on my podcast for our edification, and I actually, He's a white guy who is really doing a lot of work on social media right now, who is speaking on behalf of HBCUs.
Mm-hmm.
And he and I had a one-on-one conversation before that interview. And I said, listen, I think your story is very interesting. I really want to understand why is it you go so hard for HBCUs as a white guy who didn't go to one. And, you know, I want to know this story because there's a story. And he told me his story. I mean, he was a guy who had gone to prison, and he is someone who grew up in a racist family. He went to prison. He met somebody in prison who helped him understand, you know, black culture and all this stuff. And he just became hooked. I'm like, great. I said, well, here's the deal. All this advocacy that you're doing, people have to trust that you mean it. And people have to know that what you're doing is coming from a real place. I said, I'm telling you right now, that's a long runway.
Yeah.
You know, people aren't going to just, and I almost said, people aren't going to just invite you to the cookout just because you got on Instagram and did this thing. But I did impress upon him that trust doesn't come that easily. You know, and he said, yeah, I understand that. I get that. And I don't expect to be accepted as quote unquote, you know, an honorary black person. I was like, as long as you understand that.
Yeah.
And as long as you understand, and, you know, that was my polite way of saying, play your position, you know. And I do think that, I think you make a good point. Like, you really can invite everybody out to the cookout. And here's the thing, as a white male comedian, they are known for at some point just not having any rules whatsoever.
Yep.
Like they are known for just not having rules. And then it turns into, well, I make fun of everybody. It's like, yeah, okay, you make fun of everybody, and that's cool in comedy. But once you get outside of comedy, it's open season on you, partner.
Right.
Like people are gonna come for you, and it's not gonna be cute. It's not gonna be whatever, you know. And you can't sit there and say, "Oh, stop being so sensitive."
Right.
That's not gonna stop people from coming for your throat. And you can have the argument as a comedian. You can have the "this is what we do" argument all you want. There are a lot of people who aren't willing. They're just not trying to hear it.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm with you. I mean, and Charlamagne and all that credible in the first place.
Even for
in my opinion,
even for people who date outside their race, black men and black women who date and marry white people, they don't get permission to say the N-word.
No.
They don't, and teach your kids not to be anti-black as well, because biracial children tend to do anti-black things like that as well. And so like I said, when he said, you know, you want to hunch a dude, first of all, for you to be a Trump supporting comic, and
it got weird.
That's way,
is this the guy who did the Puerto Rico joke?
No.
This isn't the same guy.
Another
Okay.
one, but he looks like he has the same Nazi mustache.
I was looking at his face and I was like, this looks like the same dude. Okay, all right, not him.
And so one guy on Twitter says, wait, I know as a black man who's involved in hip hop music that we're a bit slow and don't really understand sarcasm and humor.
Which was a great sarcastic statement in and of itself.
Did my guy say he wanted to sleep with K-Dot? And for real, why is the black guy that's in, because there's an Indian guy that's in there, who's, you know, he's chuckling, he's laughing too, but the brother in the room,
yeah,
sir, what is your problem? Who is your mama? So she can come slap you across your face for being such a simp.
Well, I think one conversation that we need to have, and this is something that Candace Owens likes to talk about, is why black folks are so emotional. And my thing is this, and listen, I used to wonder that myself. I'm like, man, why do we get so emotional about stuff? Well, we got really good reason to get really emotional about stuff. I mean, we are probably the only ethnicity in the United States of America that has suffered severe generational trauma. And it is because of the obvious events that happened from the founding of the country until 1865, and then converted into other stuff. So you're talking about, we often joke among one another like 400 years, but that 400 years thing is very real.
And there's a lot of things that are attached to that such as buck breaking. And we'll talk about that on
Yeah.
the other side of the glass. Stay tuned to the Front Porch right here on WBOK 1230 AM. What New Orleans is talking about all day long. what New Orleans is talking about all day long. I'm your host, Kimber White Dupree.
And I'm Eddie Francis. Good morning.
And on the other side of the glass are both Justin and Nyron. And just had a quick conversation with Justin. And he brought up the point that comedians used to be able to just say stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't make it right.
No, not necessarily.
Because there's a whole lot of stuff that people used to be able to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, bosses patting their female employees on the butt.
Mm-hmm.
Forcing themselves on them.
Mm-hmm.
Used to be able to do that. That's against the law now.
Yeah.
So
used to be able to smoke on airplanes.
Used to be able to smoke on air.
I remember taking a flight as a kid and people smoking on airplanes.
Maybe that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm old enough to have. Yeah.
I mean, as somebody who used to do stand-up comedy, you can make whatever rules you want to make for your craft.
Mm-hmm.
What you do is you learn to read the room too, because you learn that when you do certain jokes, they're gonna fly, and then if you're somebody who has a soul, you can do a joke, and it is something that is very much on the edge of, let's say, decent human behavior, or just a way you just engage decently with other people, and people will sit in the room and laugh their butts off. But if you have that thing in the back of your head going, okay, I have to do that joke again so I can get that laugh again, without considering what comes along with doing that joke, because you got to consider it. If you decide to joke about somebody's religion, right, and you get a big old laugh, you're right. It doesn't mean it's right, because that laugh could very easily turn into something else. And I think for a lot of comedians, the horrible, not the horrible, but the tough thing about comedy is the only way you are judged is whether or not people laugh. That's it. There are no moral victories in comedy. And so a lot of comedians will do whatever they got to do to get that laugh out of the room, which includes stealing other comedians' jokes. All right, because there was a guy locally, and I don't know where he is these days, but there was a guy locally who literally used to go around to comedy shows, snatching jokes, and then he would do a show, and like five of us would be standing there going, I did that joke 2 weeks ago.
They said that about Cedric the Entertainer too.
Oh yeah, so I don't know if that's his thing. Yeah, I mean, so but and that's a violation. Here's the thing though, he was getting laughs though because the audience didn't know that.
Right.
The
audience doesn't know.
He was catering to an audience that had not seen the other comedians.
Right.
So what happens with comedians is you get that one thing you're judged on, the laughter, and so it becomes a drug, and you want more of the laughter. If you are more conscientious in what you do, and you really think more about who you are as a person, then you start to realize what you're not going to do. One of my rules when I did stand up was I didn't like to cuss.
Okay.
You know, maybe I would drop one maybe here or there sometimes, but I just didn't like to cuss. I had somebody I did a lot of intellectual observational humor. I had somebody tell me, you ain't black because you keep doing that white boy stuff. Well, that was my stuff though. That's what I did, and that was my rule, and I stood by it, and that's how I was going to do my thing. So I wasn't, and I felt a need to do that because I was raised by two teachers. I was raised by a family that embraces education. So I felt that was what I wanted to do, and that was my rule, right? And so I wasn't about to change just because some dude told me I need to go on a chitlin circuit and I needed to dumb it down. I wasn't about to change for that. So my option was to either keep going and keep trying to figure it out, or to step out of stand-up, and I stepped out of stand-up. I'm completely fine with it. So with this dude, this Schultz dude, he can live reckless if he wants.
Oh, there are real consequences for what it is.
Yeah, but this is why I went back to the Oscar slap.
Okay.
Because Chris Rock got a message that night.
Yeah.
Whether you agree with Will Smith or not, he did get a message. And a lot of comedians were like, oh, what are we going to do? We can't just do our craft anymore. No, you got to think about it.
Yeah.
You got to think about what you're going to do, right? And people are like, well, if you look at Will Smith, he was laughing at first. No, that's not the point, player. That is not the point.
Yeah.
The point is that what a lot of comedians learned that night is that
There's a line.
somebody will let you know when they have had enough.
Yep.
And
There's a line.
that is it. And I don't think it destroys the integrity of comedy. I don't think it does any of that. What it does is it lets you know that there are other people in the room, and you can say people are too sensitive all you want. Fine. That's where we are right now. That's just it. That's all there is to it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry you got to change up how you do your work.
I'm sorry you can't be disgusting.
Right. I'm sorry you can't. I'm sorry you can't sit. I'm sorry you can't stand up there with a microphone and talk about people unchallenged ad nauseum the way you feel like it. I mean, I saw an interview with David Allen Greer, and David Allen Greer was talking about the fact that there is absolutely no way that a lot of skits from In Living Color would survive now.
Would fly now. Mm-hmm.
A lot, especially Men on Film.
Yeah.
And he said, we couldn't do Men on Film now. There's absolutely no way that skit would fly.
Or Eddie Murphy with Delirious.
Oh man,
Delirious and Raw.
Let me tell you something. So Delirious was just the bomb back in the day.
It was hilarious.
Everybody was walking around doing the entire Delirious set. Everybody.
And it's still funny now.
I watched that thing in 2016, and I was like, ooh.
It's cringe. There are cringe moments in it, but it's still, like, I still laugh because it's still funny, right? But would I expect to see somebody in this environment or in this climate come out with the same and do well with that same thing? No.
Mm-hmm.
And so that got me thinking about Michael Richards.
Oh yeah, from Seinfeld, yeah.
Right, the one with he got his his hat handed to him. Then you had Andrew Dice Clay, who I thought was funny. I think dark humor is hilarious when it was like, oh, and you're a racist? Well, no, right. And then recently, Rob Schneider.
So notice
who should not have had a career really to begin with.
Louis C.K. too. At one point, I forgot what Louis C.K. said, but Louis C.K. got canceled.
Mm-hmm.
But notice the similarity among all these comedians. They're all white males.
Yep.
And
who have had carte blanche and the ability to say and do what it is that they wanted unchecked.
Well, Kimber, let's look at the bigger issue. White males enjoy unchecked privilege.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't like it when other people tell them, you can't stop that anymore. You can't do that anymore.
What white privilege? White privilege.
It's like, no, I mean, but I'm talking about, and I'm talking specifically about, and I'm not going to do the all white males thing because that's not fair, but I will say,
as a population, that's fair.
I will say the white males who are very aware of their privilege and enjoy the privilege.
Okay.
And don't expect anybody to challenge their privilege.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones who fall the hardest.
Okay.
Because the thing is that when they have this, because I know a lot of white guys who are very aware of their privilege, and they're like, okay, I want to make sure that when I'm in a room with people not like me, I'm checking myself. And they will ask you sincere questions like, is this the right thing to say? Is this the right way to approach this? And so I know a lot of guys like that. But then you have the ones who are like, yeah, I'm going to walk in the room and say whatever I feel like, and I'm going to do whatever I feel like, and nobody should have a problem with it. And I don't understand why all you people have a problem in the first place. And you're sitting there like, well, the reason we have a problem is because you're speaking from your point of view, and you think for some reason you should not be checked. No, you're about to get checked. And if you look at a lot of these white male comedians, when they get checked, they cry.
Oh, they do.
They cry. They're just like, I don't understand it. What's wrong with the world? Why is everybody so sensitive? And they're the ones who become mega sensitive.
But
why can't people just laugh at my stuff? It's just jokes.
But you are not the target or topic of said joke, so of course it's funny.
And that's the thing. And that's where the privilege comes in. Not realizing that you are not the target. You're not the topic. You're not on the tail end of it. You know, nobody's making fun of your humanhood, of your personhood. Nobody's making fun of your humanity. Nobody's making fun of your neurodivergence. Nobody's making fun of that stuff. And so, and listen, this was, again, when I did stand up, this was something I wrestled with. I was just like, well, should I? Because there were there were bits that I would do that were really funny to people, and I noticed that there was a lot of anger in the bits.
Mm-hmm.
There was anger. There was me picking on people. I was saying cruel stuff. I was like, man, I don't really like that. That's the funniest stuff I got.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think that for people overall, we get challenged when people tell us, well, you know, there are other people in this conversation, and you just can't have the conversation you want. You got to think about who else is in this room. And a lot of people have problems with that, but it really is a prevalent issue among white males who have privilege and enjoy their privilege and think they can shove their privilege in other people's faces.
It happens with white males, but it also transitions into other communities as well when it comes to men and women.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, when we start having conversations, oh, you're being too sensitive, or are you on your...
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like, no, what you're saying is not okay. And, you know, when we start making the jokes of, like, you are terrible doing a particular activity, which many men hang their hat on. You know, I saw something the other day, and I had a loud laugh that said, instead of fake moaning, if they're not doing a good job, just pull them closer and whisper in his ear, boo. And I was in tears laughing because a lot of men hang their hat on that, not knowing that this is terrible. And when it's time for us to, and men get really sensitive about that. So, and the sensitivity that they take, you got to know that when you say, oh, it's because she's a woman that she's reacting this way, or it must be that time of the month that she's behaving this way. And that one little thing or that one little comment will send them through the roof is just crazy to me.
Oh,
is
yeah.
crazy to
Yeah.
me.
I mean, yeah, well, you know, dude egos are the worst sometimes.
Yeah.
Just the absolute worst. And I was telling somebody about when I was having a conversation with a group of cats, and it was like barbershop type talk, but we weren't in a barbershop, and the conversation was about cooking. And I mentioned that I do most of the cooking, and somebody was like, "Well, why do you do most of the cooking?" And I said, "Because I like to cook." It's like, "Well, you see, you just said you're married, right?" I said, "Yeah." Well, how come she can't do most of the cooking? I said, because I get hungry. Dude, like I get hungry. That's why I do most of the cooking. I was like, besides, she loves my cooking. And that's the agreement we have. I said, well, she can't, what's the problem? She can't cook? I said, oh no, she cooks extremely well.
That is crazy to me because...
But dude tried to punk me on a slick.
My daddy has always said, and he had been consistent about this. He was like, see these pots and pans? They don't have gender on here anywhere. Don't say man, don't say woman. See this trash can right here? It don't say man, don't say woman. You see this hammer right here? Don't say the mop and all it. This like he one time, and I think he was trying to teach a lesson maybe to one of our family friends' kids who may have come with that kind of thinking or said something that kind of turned him. And I think he walked us through the entire house, and every time he stopped after something, does this say man or woman? You know, because again, my husband is able to nourish us. I enjoy cooking.
Yeah.
I will do that. I don't have a problem, but not because I am the woman.
Well, but you
in the
know,
relationship.
But you can almost predict the next words out of that dude's mouth, right? Well, the Bible says,
where does it say it? Where does it say it? Show me.
I don't read the Bible. I knew he was reading. I knew he was making stuff up.
Exactly.
I was like, I said, I know you. I said, it sounds like you're making something
Chapter
up.
and verse, please. Is it written in red or is it written in black? Who said that exactly?
But to your point about men, I think one of the things, it's funny to me how a lot of dudes try to use the Bible, or they try to use religion to justify their manhood. And it's just like, well, The Bible doesn't have anything to do with this. Like, dude, you're insecure. Just say that. Like, if you're insecure, just say you're insecure. So,
Period. Mark, you know I'm always on, ready, and set. Please don't do that to yourself. 504-582-9422. Hey, Pam.
Good morning again.
Good
I would like
morning.
to try another one.
Sure. For sure.
How about, because after that last song, and you said you liked the way I was thinking, okay, I want to try, let's see. What about Greece? Are we traveling to Greece?
To Greece. Are we traveling to Greece? To
that laugh kills me.
I love
okay, baby, I'm going to keep trying.
Thank you very much. I'm glad that you are going to continue to play Travel Thursday. All right, talk to you soon.
You know what I think Pam does?
What's that?
I think she's one of those people. Have you had anybody around you who starts a laughing fit?
No.
I think she starts laughing fits. I bet she does. I love laughing fits.
I'm glad that the laughter is contagious.
Oh, I love laughing.
Yeah, I love that.
I like a good belly
for
laugh.
sure, but like you can't help but feel like
I would keep laughing just because she's laughing.
Yeah.
Like I want to laugh right now.
Yeah, that is funny. That is hilarious.
Because that laugh is everything.
That is hilarious. Oh, okay. Mark says, Kimba, I saw the eyes. I was waiting for it. Okay, as long as you know, I'm ready and set. Please don't do that. And,
he knew what he was doing.
And don't do that with me.
He knew what he was doing.
I have I've been facing some harsh truths about myself with that.
Yeah, Mark, I see you want to back down when Kimba's about to get on your case.
He likes to laugh at inappropriate things. I like that sometimes too.
I know he does.
But sir, don't do it. Don't do that. I'm in a pretty decent mood today.
Yeah. See, we were all jokey before when Mark was all jokey in that first hour when I was giving my views on intellectual curiosity. He had jokes. Yeah, you stopped short on the jokes, huh? Now you're gonna hit the brakes. Say it with your chest, partner.
I mean, you could press
Come
the
again.
gas.
No, go ahead. No, I want you to. No, I want you to get Kimba started this time.
That's my favorite sport. But yeah, we have been having some pretty cool conversation. I guess I did want to talk about buck breaking when it came to
that's
that
right. You
whole
brought that up before the break.
with the whole idea of a white man talking about hunching a black man and the idea behind during slavery, buck breaking was a thing where
it was
where black men who were captured would be raped by their captors and now owners. So the fact that you would think that what you're saying already is not accepted with the bros, because the bros are always, strong and no homo and that kind of stuff, that kind of language. But sir, are you really narrating how you gonna hunch another guy, a black man, sir?
I mean,
listen, little Hitler.
I was about to say, I'm looking at this dude's picture.
He looked like Hitler.
I've never heard of him. I've never heard of him, and so I'm looking at his picture, and the package does not fare well for being, for someone to be considered
Lenore,
as.
Please mind yourself, because remember what happened to you when you were talking reckless to people that walk right up to you on the street. That can happen. He can be touched too. So please pay attention to who we platforming and inviting to the cookout. Let's take this quick call before we go to break. Hello, Mary.
Hi, Kimber, Eddie, and Naren. Good morning to
Mary.
you all. My second time calling in, and I hope I can get it right this time.
All right, let's
Are
see.
Are we going to Italy?
Are we going to Italy?
Bah.
I love when y'all preemptively give the sound yourselves. I love it.
Excuse me to hear that bomb sound.
Well, keep listening, and there's more music to come. And, of course, it's Travel Thursday, so you are more than welcome to give us a call back. All right, Miss Mary?
Certainly will. I hope I get it right the next time.
All right.
I'll be out.
Talk to
Bye-bye.
you soon. All righty. Y'all stay tuned to the Front Porch right here on WBOK 1230 AM. What New Orleans is talking about all day long. what New Orleans is talking about all day long. I'm your host, Kimber White Dupree.
And I'm Eddie Francis. Good morning.
And on the other side of the glass are Nyron, Justin, and Caleb. Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, Mike. Yes, it is that time. It is Travel Thursday. Where are we traveling to? Where are we traveling to? No, wait. We got all the lines lit up.
Oh,
We
okay.
give the producers a second to give us a clue on who is on the line. But, yeah. Did you see that the French government had a collapse on yesterday?
French government.
Mm-hmm.
No, what happened to him?
The French government has collapsed after Prime Minister Michael Barnier was ousted in a no-confidence vote. The MPs voted overwhelmingly in support of the motion against him just 3 months after he was appointed by President Emmanuel Macron. Opposition parties had tabled the motion after the former Brexit negotiator controversially used special powers to force through his budget without a vote. It marks the first time the country's government has collapsed in a no-confidence vote since 1962.
Wow.
Yeah, all the governments are having some issues.
That's not good.
They are having some issues.
That is not good at all. Yeah, that's I mean, it's a domino effect,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Because now you have this because now you have all these people, all these dudes around all these different governments who are taking their cues from this Trump election, this second Trump election. And I don't know, I guess insecure white men have decided they've had enough.
What?
And
Enough of what?
they've had enough of not having complete control of everything.
Being coddled? Y'all tired of rolling around like
Man,
I
like
mean,
these are some really insecure dudes.
your wet nurses have been off the job for quite some time.
Goodness gracious.
They didn't pop that
But
thing out your mouth a long time ago, my baby. It's time for you to grow
Yeah,
up.
I mean, it's these dudes who are just like, we have to take control, and they want to follow the example of this Trump election and all this stuff. And what's going to happen? I'm saying all this to say that what's going to happen is that, and I don't know the details of what happened in France, so let me just be clear about
Okay.
that. But what's going to happen? What I saw coming, or what I see coming, is that there are going to be a lot of collapses because there is such a thing right now of these guys who really, really want to take complete control of everything, and they're doing nothing but causing problems.
They're mucking it up.
I mean, look what we got going on in Louisiana. Oh, we can get to Landry in a little bit, but Landry is such a petulant child.
He is.
And he thinks he's an alpha male. Like, that is the big thing with these dudes.
The
Like,
red pill boys are awful.
This whole alpha male conversation going on right.
The red pill bros are terrible.
It is so childish.
They're terrible.
I'm an alpha male. It's like, what are you talking
sure?
about?
Are you sure?
This is life. It's not a wrestling match. What is wrong with y'all?
And it looks like you never wrestled or played any real contact sport, which is why you need to identify with the bros, with the alpha males.
I mean, what?
Really,
Yeah,
it's
anyway.
time for y'all to spit or regurgitate your red pills because y'all are awful.
Well, she sneaks around the world from Kiev to Carolina. She's a sticky-fingered filcher from Berlin down to Belize. Take you for a ride on a slow boat in China. Tell me, where in the world is
Carmen San Diego.
Hey, Cam.
Good morning. Happy Thursday,
Good
y'all.
morning
Hey,
and
Cam.
happy Thursday to you.
Hey, doing all right, I guess. I'm busy as heck, but I'm listening. I think we're going. It sounds like we're going collectively.
We going Pacifically someplace.
Yeah, we are
But
specifically
let's follow this line of thought. Did I lose her? What happened?
Yeah,
No,
I'm
your
here.
line of thought, Cam. That's what she meant.
your
my line of thought is that we're going like on a like a Caribbean cruise with your honey bunny, a Caribbean. Oh Lord,
You're overthinking this, Cam.
You always give us a narrative, which I definitely love because you give
know,
us your
but I'm just
roadmap,
like-
and I appreciate that.
You're overthinking this, though.
But
I don't know.
But
it sounds like torture.
I know it
cannot
feels
tell
like
you to
torture,
dig
but-
deeper on this one. I have to tell you to keep listening on this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to keep listening on this, but it's something about about I don't know about lovers and things like that. That's the only thing I'm thinking.
Pam, you sound like a tortured soul right now.
Cam, continue
Say
to
that
listen.
again?
Continue to listen.
Cam, you sound like a tortured soul.
This is Cam's day. Travel Thursday is her day.
I know.
I hear you. I hear
and
you.
I'm,
yeah.
And I'm busy work wise, so I'm stretched.
Okay. I hear you. Take some deep breaths.
But I'm listening.
Okay. Well,
I'm
keep
still
listening.
listening.
And
Okay.
You're thinking.
Yeah, I'm thinking, but I'm just
and
trying
generally stay on that path, but we have a specific landing place.
Yeah.
Okay,
All
I got
right.
this Kokomo thing. It's definitely not Kokomo. I know that. So better not nobody call in and say that.
Yes,
it's not
spoiler
Kokomo.
alert for those of you who were thinking.
Right.
Yes.
It's not that. That I know.
All
right.
right, Cam.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
I'm a little concerned about Cam after that call. She sounds really Cam, you could do all things with Christ who strengthens you.
This is her day, right? And so Cam, for starters, we had to start getting really clever about the songs for the places that we were going, because Cam would, after 2 or 3 songs, and she'd be able to tell you exactly where we're going, and it was man.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember a couple of times she got it like 10 minutes into the show.
Like almost.
There was one she got. It was one song and she got it. I remember that. There was one show that when I was here, one song or maybe 2.
Yeah.
But we hadn't even gotten into the second hour.
No, and she's very, very, she's very accurate when she does call in and give places.
Okay.
So as we've gotten a little more clever with the selection of songs and the locations, it's given a challenge. Plus, she's busy. Let's be clear, she is an attorney. She got real work to do.
Yeah,
But,
I heard.
We are going to take this break. Stay tuned to the Front Porch right here on WBOK 1230 AM. What New Orleans is talking about all day long.
bodies in the sand. Tropical drink melting in your hand. We'll be falling in love to the rhythm of a steel drum band. Down in Coconut, Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take you to Bermuda, Bahama,
I'm your host, Kimber White Dupree.
And I'm Eddie Francis. Good morning. It's Deja Vu.
Yeah, I would say so. And I'm going to hit the talk lines immediately. 504-582-9422. Good morning, Mary.
Yes, this is Mary again, twice in one day.
That is perfect. That is wonderful. We are glad to hear from you.
I tell you, this song is driving me now. I got a clue from the other call, but I'm thinking we going Mexico, United States.
Which one?
Which one? Don't play with me like
Would it be
that.
Mexico or the United States?
Well, they have Mexico of the United States.
That's Mexico City?
Or New Mexico? Or New Mexico?
It's Mexico, United States. Okay, Mexico City. Mexico City.
Well, Mexico, North America. Well, that's Central America. So, yeah, no. I mean, either way, you're wrong, honestly. But
Okay, that's what I want to know.
All right. Well, thank you so much for calling, and please continue to listen.
I'll be listening. Okay. I tell you, I'm determined today.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate your determination. Have a good one.
Oh, Mexico officially is known as the United Mexican States.
United Mexican States.
I hear you.
So
yeah. I mean, hey,
I had a brain freeze or something because it was like my brain went into shutdown. Does not compute. User error.
I just thought Mary was trying to be slick. I thought she was trying to be slick, and she was like, you know what? I'm gonna give two places, and one of them is gonna be right. That's what I thought she was trying to do.
Error. My goodness gracious.
I think she was trying to do.
Well, that was a creative answer. I appreciate it. I appreciate all the calls and the participation on this Travel Thursday. And we have made it to the third hour. I'm thinking that the musical clues will be this is where they start getting a little easier toward this in this particular part. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Has there been a time where people did not figure out where we were going since I've been on the front porch? I'm not sure. I don't recall us not finding out where we were going.
I could have sworn one time when I was here, folks didn't figure out where we were going. I could have sworn.
I know Movie Monday has been some terrible performances and Tribute Tuesday, but I don't recall the Travel Thursday being an issue.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I don't think so. I remember what was that, Cam, the time we did we played the national anthem and immediately figured out
that was the football
that was
game.
going to a football game. I was like, wow, that's talent.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
that's talent, man.
She's the GOAT. Travel Thursday, like Josh is Movie Monday. And Thursday has been traditionally known as Cam's Day. That's why she has her own theme song on Travel Thursday.
Yeah, that's
and it's a toss up on Tribute Tuesday because it's a group effort to answer the question.
No, but that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a group effort.
Collaboration is a good thing.
Everybody has to participate, but they will figure it out. I have faith in you. I have faith in you.
Yes, you can do all things.
So it seems like governments all around the world are having issues. China, France, very shortly United States.
I mean, just it's this, and the thing that's scary about it to me is this might be the way that they drew the plan up.
Okay.
I mean, because the kinds of people that we have who are about to step into government in the U.S., these are people, they are obsessed with control. And a big part of gaining control is to cause chaos.
Clearly.
So and these are people who like chaos. They love chaos because the more chaos they can cause, the more they can control people, the more they can figure out who to control and how to control them. It's an easy road to manipulation. And so, it concerns me a lot because I do think there's this domino effect that has started taking place. And I think within that domino effect is governments where people are just really they're not really fighting to see who can be the best leader of the country. They're fighting to see who can control the country. And so I do that. That is something to be very, very concerned about.
Absolutely.
And we're gonna have to keep our head on a swivel.
It's one of these things where you have somebody who causes all the chaos, and then they are the ones who are selling you that they have the answer, but you're the one who messed it up in the first place. So you're expecting people to cleave to you. But what America seems to be pretty fickle about is when we see that sometimes when we see you're the person that caused the problem, we definitely don't want you to fix it. So I'm hoping that people, because it seems like people, the electorate, the bodies of people who voted had amnesia on how this went the last time, the whole mismanagement of COVID, and
they didn't have amnesia. The thing is that the people who voted for him against it, well, it didn't bother me, so it didn't affect me. I'm still alive.
Well,
I really believe that's how a lot of people have processed what happened with COVID.
Which,
I mean, the people who voted for.
Yeah, but I don't know that they can say that they weren't impacted or it didn't mess with them, because we lost way too many people for you not to.
But
be
that's
impacted.
the thing. So, but I'm talking about people whose response to it is, "I didn't die. I'm fine, and I didn't get vaccinated, so I have it all figured out. So it's not affecting me." I really believe a lot of people who voted for Trump are the people whose worldview is, as long as it doesn't bother me, I'm fine. And I just need to make my coins, and I just need to do what I need to do. I'm doing really well in crypto right now. The world can burn. I'm fine. And I really think those are the types of people who voted for Trump.
But until it's not, that's the thing. Like when it no longer will serve them, and it does bottom out, those are the same people who are going to be seeking, like, for people's assistance or the assistance of the government that they have helped to.
They don't think so. I don't think that they think that's going to happen. These are people who do not think they're going to be affected personally in any way. And also, these are also the kinds of people I suspect who separate everybody into either the winners category or the losers category. Like everybody has this really, everybody, a lot of these people who voted for Trump, they really have this thing where they feel like they are the winners in life because they're tough and they're this and they're that, and they figured it all out. A lot of them are conspiracy theorists, which off air, I told Kemba that I ran across this scholar out of Croatia who researches critical thinking. And she wrote this really good piece about the difference between critical thinking and conspiracy theory and conspiratorial thinking, as she calls it. A lot of people voted for Trump, they're conspiracy theorists. And a lot of people who voted for him, they don't care what happened to everybody else. They're sitting here going, as long as I'm fine, I'm going to be all right. If you can't figure out how to not get COVID, then you're a loser.
Ain't my business.
I mean, look,
they
voted for the guy who said, they voted for the guy who, not everybody, for all that flag waving and for all of their saying, thank you for your service and all this stuff, they creatively forgot that he's the one who said, I don't like people who get caught by, I don't like people who get caught by the enemy or whatever. When he made the swipe at McCain for having been a POW, right? And And so they're hypocritical thinkers. They're conspiracy theorists. They separate everybody into either the winner bucket or the loser bucket. You know, they're the ones who think that the world is way too sensitive right now. Why can't I talk about you the way I feel like talking about you? I should be able to call anybody I want to, you know, any sort of derogatory term. And it's not derogatory. You're just too sensitive. I mean, that's the mentality of these people.
Until it's you.
Until it's you. Until it's you. But that's the thing. They don't think it's going to be them.
Because my favorite quote was back the blue. I said, yeah, back the blue even when it's you. Stay on that same messaging. Do not switch up just because you're the person who is being the person who is sought after.
Right.
Don't switch up. Don't switch up now. Y'all love the police till the police had a message for y'all. And people like, how can you treat me like that? I'm white. You are, but you're white and you broke the law. So what does y'all think that breaking the law was?
I mean, you know.
Was
Yeah, I mean, and that
color thing?
But that's exactly what they think it is. So there was what is this knucklehead's name?
If we're gonna do that, if we're gonna identify people by characteristics and color, just based on your race, they would hate it if it happened to them. They would hate it if they had, because they only the positive things are the things that they identify with in categorizing or classifying themselves. But who taught y'all how to clean? Because y'all still haven't figured out that washcloths are for you to clean your body. We still have some of y'all who are just using the soap only to wash your body. That's not hygienic. Somebody like we have people saying this like out their face on public platforms that they don't wash their legs. The soap runs down their body and cleans their legs. What?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So not washing your chicken before you cook it. So a running theme would be, if we're gonna classify people by color, y'all nasty.
I mean, but these are the people, you know, the kinds of people who we're talking about, who, you know, the Trump backers and all that kind of stuff. These are folks, and unfortunately, it even involves, you know, even black folks. Some black folks jump on board with this. They have this really very simplistic thinking. I will say this. One of the reasons I think a lot of these people despise higher education so much is higher education has enabled a lot of marginalized people to understand the world way better and to understand the history of this country a lot better and to understand the dysfunction of this country a lot better and why society is as dysfunctional as it is. I say this constantly, that critical race theory would not have been a problem if some scholar had not made it accessible to the general population by way of social media. If critical race theory has stayed in the academy, in some scholars' file cabinet as part of their research, nobody would have had a problem. But the minute that the minute these neoconservatives and these other people who think that white people should control the world, and the minute that they saw that the general population had access to that kind of academic writing and thinking, they lost it. Because that's not the way they drew it up. That's not what they hoped for. And so now what are they doing? They're attacking higher education. And they're saying, well, higher education is they're treating higher education as if it is a bad thing now.
All while still taking advantage of higher education themselves and sending your kids. Yes. So like, listen, that whole thing of do what I say and not what I do, that didn't work for us as children. So people who are listening right now, if they're banning or they're speaking against higher education all while getting higher education, you got to know that something is wrong with that whole presentation.
Yeah, I mean,
and be at least wondering why it's okay for you to do it, but not okay for me to do it. Like, come on now.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason. There's a reason they want to strip away diversity, equity, inclusion. It's not that it makes them angry. It gives the people who they don't want to have access. It gives too many of them access, and so they're
finding out that the people that they're sending or the people that they are trying to send are not able to get in because they don't meet the qualifications. And right now it's because somebody else is keeping their seats. No, baby, you didn't have the qualifications to get in the first place. So that other person sitting in that seat, and that's gonna backfire against them because they're gonna find out that as mediocre as it's been okay for you to be the majority of your life, and you still can't get in. Now that DEI has been removed, now what's the problem?
Yeah, because now you can have mediocre thinkers, and you know,
I still didn't get in because
I was actually talking to a friend of mine just not too long ago. He works in a space where he is the only black person who's working in his area, and he said that the other folks who are working in that area who are above him, he's being asked to train the people above him. He's not being paid to do it. They're not qualified for the job. Now, he was qualified for his job, but he's being underpaid. The people above him are not qualified, and they're being overpaid. And so, you know, this is this is the world, you know, for everybody who thought that they were, you know, for the black folks and other people of color who thought that they were, when they voted for Trump, you thought you were doing some sort of, I don't know what you thought you were doing. And I don't know what you thought you were voting for when you voted for him. But this is what you voted for. You voted for a continuation of that. So if you are someone who voted for Trump and you are underpaid on your job and you're the only black face there and you're being asked to train people above you, then guess what? You voted for more of that. And you actually voted for yourself to get fired.
In the words of Fred G. Sanford, you big dummy.
Right. You voted for that. I mean, like, this is what you voted for. You voted for a bigger world of that. You voted for your kids.
Yep.
To be in that situation.
Yep.
You know, and the guy I'm talking about did not vote for Trump, by the way. I'm not talking about that. But for the people who did vote for him, who are in that kind of situation, and they believe that they are protected because it's like, oh, I'm surrounded by all these.
I'm one of the good ones. They know I'm
right.
one of the good
ones. I'm one of the crew now.
Tim Scott has still no cabinet.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, Tim Scott and that fool down in Florida. Yeah, they're not getting anything.
Cabinet seat. And Elder and y'all still have no place sitting in the cabinet.
So all these people, so the Byron Downs and all these people, all these other fools who are sitting here going, yeah, we don't need DEI. Well, guess what? You're right, you don't need it because you're not getting anything anyway. So your privileges are all gone.
Yep, and all the DEI
your privileges are gone.
Sitting in your space.
You miss your opportunity. I know you did everything you could to get your boy in office, and he made you some promises that would, for whatever reason, you believed
he was gonna
you believed it. You believed it was gonna go down. And it did go down. And you're just like, yeah, we don't need DEI. Fool.
Congratulations.
DEI is honestly, by the way, you are the DEI hire. That's how you got used in the campaign.
You big dummy. We got to take this break, y'all. Stay tuned to the Front Porch right here on WBOK 1230 AM. What New Orleans is talking about all day long.
pur smack, subitur cubo inca mundo de nos abstract. Pinta nos amor, alto mundo tá nos canvas. Na boutique de souls na outro bandi atlas.
What New Orleans is talking about all day long. I'm your host, Kimber White Dupree.
And I'm Eddie Francis. Good morning.
And on the other side of the glass, we have Caleb, Nyron, and Jared. Yes, indeed. Where are we traveling to this Travel Thursday? Let's get right to it. 504-582-9422. Hey, Pam.
Hey, baby, I'm going to try again.
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
All right. Is it possible? Oh, are we going to Casa Marina Beach in Key West, Florida?
That was very specific.
That was.
Judges?
I am feeling this today. I know I'm going to try to get this right. I'm going to try again. Okay, thank y'all.
Absolutely, absolutely. You got just immediate. I feel like if you were having a bad day, that laughter would bring you up. For sure.
It would.
Yeah.
Oh,
What's up, Josh?
Good morning. How y'all doing?
Good morning.
Good.
How are you?
I'm good. I think Pam and the other callers, they battling.
You said what now?
I think Pam and the other woman that's calling, they battling. Like they challenging me. Who get it wrong the most?
Oh Lord, have mercy.
They're more excited about it too. They're just excited about it.
I mean, find joy in the wrong answer. If no loss, you learn.
Nobody does it better than them two. That's why I say they battling.
No losing, only learning.
I don't know where y'all going, but I know it's somewhere warmer than this place.
All righty, okay, all right.
But I didn't call about that. I don't touch Cam's day.
Okay.
I just want to use my intellectual curiosity. And I remember when Omarosa was stomping the streets with full orange boy.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
That thing ain't make it past probation. She ain't make it past probation.
Is she still in law school?
Yeah, she's at Southern.
I know that.
She's at Southern and Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
Southern Law.
Why? Who's gonna hire her as a lawyer?
Oh, this is the one thing that you cannot take from her. She is smart.
Mm-hmm.
Albeit aggravating, annoying, and all of the other adjectives you want to add to it. She's not dumb. Not by a long shot.
She's gonna go work for that dude. She can't be that smart. That child just does have a wall. I think she hit it.
I don't think that's a conviction of her intelligence.
Right.
It is a conviction of her at the time cognitive dissonance, for one. Two, the idea that she was not one of us. She was one of the good ones, and that the things that would happen to the regular black, she ain't regular black. So of course it didn't apply. The arrogance of that.
Let's not forget also, Kim, but this lady's killed John Coffey.
Oh.
She killed John Coffey. I can never forgive for that.
I am not going to touch that.
John Coffey was healthy before he met Omarosa. It's just like her career with Trump went quickly, so did his life with her. I never forgave her for that. Never will. Never will. So I just want to walk down, intellectual curiosity lane. That's all.
Well, thank you.
I don't want to get you upset today.
Thank you. See, you always take it too far, Josh.
He thinks he does.
Hey, look, all I know, Eddie in the two-lane sweater, is a nice guy. But when he put on that press dry sweater, he's totally different, boy. He's different.
Wait, what?
He said when you put on that press drive sweatshirt, you different.
Oh, okay.
Different. No.
That's a good tries, Josh. I know.
Too far.
I mean, Josh, you have a limited shelf life as far as your wordplay. So, at some point, it just goes dry like a river. Like it's just.
I would never.
It's like a dried up lake at some point.
I would never try to work.
You are right for a little bit.
And on that note, Josh, thank you for calling. All righty. We are not going to hell on the telephone calls on Travel Thursday. 504-582-9422. Hello, Cam.
Good morning again.
Yes.
Hey, Cam.
How are you?
Long time no speak.
I know that's right. Are we going to Aruba?
There we go. You just made.
I told you.
You just made Nyron click his heels in the production suite.
He did do a Toyota jump.
He did. He
and
clicked his heels.
And I can tell you how I got there.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm not trying to give away my tricks or anything, but the first thing I did was listen to the last song, and I said, that is not Spanish. That is not patois. It's not, Haitian Creole. I'm just trying to think of everything it wasn't. And so then I said, okay, I got to start looking. What are the languages of the countries in the Caribbean?
Ah, okay. Yeah.
Because I knew what it wasn't. I knew what it wasn't. It had that Portuguese flavor, but it's not Portuguese.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I was just trying to figure out, and it's not French. Portuguese, it's not French, Korean. I knew everything it wasn't, and the last one came down to Aruba.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This is why
came down to Aruba.
Nicely done.
I had to listen to that song. I was like, that is not Spanish.
Yep.
But it had that Spanish Caribbean flavor.
But it sounded more Portuguese than Spanish. And I can't speak Portuguese or read it for that matter, but I know what it sounds like.
Well, there you go, ladies.
I know what it sounds like. So, but Aruba, some places on my bucket list. I have not been there, but I really would like to go.
Are you gonna go when they have that? Don't they have like a big comedy weekend or comedy something?
They used to.
Like Sinbad, right?
Yeah,
that was a Sinbad.
That was a Sinbad thing. They used to have it for like 3 days, and no one has really been able to replicate that. And really, since Tom Joyner stopped doing, he's still kind of doing his stuff, but there's no large groups assembling like that hardly anymore like they used to. I mean, 10, 15, 20 years ago, man, every Memorial Day and Labor Day, there was someplace to go. You could get on the Tom Joyner cruise and go this way. Now Soul Train cruises are traveling twice a year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I only know that because my husband was one of the DJs on the last cruise.
Well, I mean, I'm glad that's the thing because a lot of people don't even know what Soul Train is anymore.
Yeah, but they actually, Tony Cornelius and his crew put on a very, 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 if you like old school music and live old school music, it is a great, great, great cruise. It's nonstop performances every night and even during the day. They partying constantly. Constantly. Look it up. Look it up for all of y'all who love that kind of stuff. Like. And they sail out of Fort Lauderdale.
Okay. Okay. Well,
they do. So I'm looking forward. Next time my husband gets called back, I will be right next to him. I didn't go in January with him this year, but when they call him back, honey, I am there.
I know that's right.
I don't want to miss all the good acts. The last cruise, they had War and Tower of Power on the same cruise.
Oh wow! Really?
Can you? I told my husband, I said, I can't believe it. I think it's the one, the one before him. And I said, I can't believe we weren't on that. That's legendary right there.
Absolutely. And
getting them two together.
And now is like time for acts like that are banned.
Yes.
Like now's the time to go and see them. If they're in your city, in your town, you have the ability. Go now.
If Lenny White comes on a stage somewhere, y'all better go see Lenny.
Yeah.
Come on now, because we don't know how,
Exactly.
Tomorrow ain't promised.
Life, and how we remember them in their recordings, they're not
That's
that age
right.
anymore, but forever in our minds, we
That's
have
right.
them until, it's like, dang, 80, 90, what?
Yeah. People still performing in their 80s and late 70s and stuff. Look at Patti LaBelle. I mean, she's not performing at the same rate she was, but she still is performing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, and making pies. All right, y'all.
All right, Cam. Good
I'm going back
talking
to my beachfront hotel.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is why Cam is the GOAT on Travel Thursday. Yeah, it is the time for you to go and see acts that have been performing at this point 30 plus years.
40, yeah, 30,
Yeah,
40,
30
yeah.
plus years, and
Well, and then you
bands. If you have the opportunity to see a band
Yeah,
performing,
yeah.
go.
Yeah, I mean, because I think about Earth, Wind, and Fire. Earth, Wind, and Fire has got to be 50.
Oh, they've been
At least 50 years.
I
They
know
started in the late
it's-
60s.
I know it's gotta be
Yeah, they
longer than that.
They started in the late 60s. So they've been active since 1969. So 55 years.
Yeah,
55 years they've been around doing their thing.
Very long time to
So,
be
yes,
performing.
I
So
agree.
if you get the chance to see them, go and see bands just in
Mhm.
general.
Go see
'cause
bands. I mean, because you
We've
have
had this band conversation a couple of times.
yeah,
and-
because you
and-
do have acts that are bands. I love it for the generation of musicians now, the young musicians who are bands, and they're out there doing their thing. I mean, Trombone Shorty comes to mind first.
Of course.
Because that Shorty comes to mind first. I mean, we talk about John Baptiste a lot, but
Yes,
John
we do.
Baptiste comes a lot. PJ Morton, Tank and the Bangers. I mean, so you I say bangers. Yeah, you think about them bands, and then the other thing you can do, which is really interesting. I started to go down the Tiny Desk rabbit hole one day, and I need to get more curious about acts I've never heard of.
Okay.
Because there are a lot of acts. I was like, who is this? I have no earthly idea who this is. And so I need to go ahead and open my world up, and I need to
You
check
remember
out
any of the names of these acts that you?
I haven't heard them.
Like that you hadn't heard of before.
Have you gone down the roster of the Tiny Desk artists?
No, I'm not a big.
Oh, there are a lot of them. There are a lot of. I mean, the ones that go viral are the ones that we tend to, the ones that go viral are the ones that we know of. But I mean, okay, so Olivia Rodrigo. Do you know who that is?
No.
Neither do I. Oh man, Nora Jones did a Tiny Desk. Sheila E did a Tiny Desk. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm on my computer now.
For sure.
But yeah, I mean, there was. I went down the list of some of the acts that had performed, and I was like, who is this? I mean, and a lot of young Black artists have done Tiny Desks. So yeah, I think it's really cool to be able to take a look at who some of these people are.
Yeah, no, I don't. I'm looking at some of these people, and no, I don't know a lot of them. But some of the names I've heard of is just not music that I have heard before, nor that I was interested in.
Well, that's the other thing. Like, I'm actually starting to become more curious about the other types of music.
But you have a pretty broad spectrum of music taste.
I do. I'll listen to different things. I'll listen to different things. I definitely like to try to listen to stuff. One of the music forms, one of the genres, I just can't get into. I can't get into country.
Oh,
I just can't.
There are some country songs that I like.
I mean, I might like one or two.
Has not been a genre of music that
I used to really get into grunge. Yeah,
rock, yes, hard rock, even yes, but grunge, not so much. But country, oh yeah. Well, because I danced when we would go to workshops, there was no such thing as like an all black dance workshop. We would most of the time, Kelly School of Dance would be the only all black studio in a competition and dance workshop full of all white people. So because I was around them, I learned a lot of music that, of course the teachers would teach. And of course, if we got like a Frank Hatchett or, a black teacher at one of those conferences, then, you heard music that we would typically hear. Or if later on, if you got a hip hop teacher, and I'm doing that air quotes, if you got a hip hop teacher, then you would hear music that you would more traditionally hear, as what we would label as R&B or hip hop or rap music and stuff like that. But I heard a lot of it in country. Some of them country songs, they be lit.
Yeah, I have the, yeah, like when the whole thing happened with, Beyonce doing her album, I just never got into it.
I have not heard anything other than
Never got into it.
16, whatever, and whatever that other one that kept playing it. And I was like, now I'm definitely not motivated to hear anything.
I couldn't tell you what the other one was that they kept playing because I just.
And I know she redid Jolene. I haven't heard that, and I know Jolene because I know Dolly Parton's music. But outside of that, not so much. Texas Hold'em, that's what it was.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
okay.
You kept hearing
that one, yeah.
I was like, I'm still unmotivated to hear that. But we're gonna take this break. Good Lord, the girls are fighting. We're watching something happen with the politicians.
Yeah, we're looking at. That's why I was staring at the screen. We have this big old screen in the studio, and we're staring at.
It's the Red Pill guys. They're fighting. There's fighting in the ranks. We gotta take this break, y'all. Stay tuned to the Front Porch right here on WBOK 12:30 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about.
nature, full of ecstasy and fire.
Here on WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about all day long. I'm your host, Kimber White Dupree, and
I'm Eddie Francis. Good morning.
And bringing us back with who?
That is, the song is, well, people say Rasputin, but in the song they say Rasputin. I forgot the name of the artist. So the videos of this artist and the guy, I forgot when he passed away, but it's been all over Instagram.
Okay.
And I don't know how Boney M was the artist. And so this is about Rasputin, but the of course in the song they say Rasputin, but for what I don't know how.
Like the demon?
No, like the Russian Tsar. And so
he was pretty terrible though.
Yeah, well, he wrote a song about it. He wrote a song about it. You heard it? There you go. But the thing was so funny is that I do not know how, but my son discovered this song when he was when he was a kid. He discovered this song, and I was like, how did you find this song? But he had been all over YouTube and all kinds of stuff, and he heard it, and he just fell in love with the song. But Boney M was the group. Okay, Boney M wasn't the person; it was the group.
Okay.
They were R&B, reggae, funk, and disco group founded in 1974. So yeah, that was that is so funny that this song's. Oh, and there we go. They're from Aruba. Okay, so that makes sense. But anyway.
Yeah, Grigory Rasputin. I was like, he was pretty terrible person.
Oh, they called him the demon?
He was like terrible as
yeah. I was like, oh, did I miss that? Okay, all right. But anyway. Oh, they started in West Germany though. That's interesting. But anyway, yeah, they wrote a song about Rasputin.
That's interesting. He was Russian, the person.
Oh yeah.
And but he was terrible.
He was.
That's why when you said the name Rasputin, I was like the terrible one.
yeah, and it was so the album it was on an album released in 1978. The album was called Night Flight to Venus. That is so disco. Yeah, it was so funny. Like the song starts off, there lived a certain man in Russia long ago. He was big and strong, in his eyes and a flaming glow.
Oh, yeah, you sound like a demon.
But most people look at him with terror and with fear. But to Moscow chicks, he was such a lovely dear.
Oh.
Okay, they were high.
Well,
they had to be high. This is disco, so they had to be high as I don't know what. Oh man,
that's interesting.
Man, the front man from Boney M, which he was pretty bony. He was really skinny, but he was supposedly known for his dancing.
The musician.
The lead singer for Boney M. Well, who was he called? I know somebody knows what this person's name was.
I had never heard that person before. This is my first time.
I my first time even learning about this Joker was on Instagram. I felt like I just missed a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, so Bobby Farrell, is that the guy? Bobby Farrell. Yeah, he was the I think he was the leader, but he sang the lead on this, and he was an odd person.
Okay.
He liked to dance a lot, but he also wore these really interesting costumes. And he was odd. He was very odd.
Like Culture Club odd?
No, not that odd.
Okay.
But like high in the disco era odd.
Oh, pants that fit real tight and like hugging too tight.
Yeah,
and shiny.
I'm gonna have to show you one of his costumes.
Okay.
Because like he wore capes and stuff.
Okay, all right. Well, okay.
Oh.
Brad says it's the same producer as Milli Vanilli. Same situation. The performers in the videos did not sing on the recording. The German producer that found good-looking people to perform. Actually, that's happened a lot.
Thank you.
That happened with Shalimar.
Did that happen with Shalimar? Really?
Yep. That group got made like kind of like a hookup like
I'm
that.
gonna have to read that.
But you had Jody Watley who actually could sing, and you had
Howard Hewitt.
Howard Hewitt who actually could sing. But I don't know if the third member could sing. I don't remember what they did after the group broke up. But Shalimar came together like that.
Yeah, the third member was replaced by. Wait, no. Who did Mickey Free replace? Did Mickey Free replace?
Don't make
Mickey Free replaced that third member, I think.
Don't
Or did he replace Howard Hewitt? I can't remember. Yeah, it was the same situation. Oh, you remember they did that with oh man, what was the cut? CNC Music Factory. Everybody Dance Now. Yeah. Martha Walsh.
Yeah, you go. There
Martha
you go.
Walsh, yeah.
Because she was from It's
The
Raining
Weather
Wind.
Girls.
Yeah.
The Weather Girls, yeah.
I don't know why I couldn't think of that name.
Mhm.
They used to call them 2 Tons of Fun.
Yep.
I remember that.
And then they were called the Weather Girls, and then she sang lead on
They
Everybody
sang back
Dance
up
Now.
for Sylvester, didn't they?
That would sound right. That would make a lot of
I
sense.
feel
Yeah.
like maybe they did. Yeah.
That would make a lot of sense if they sang back up for Sylvester.
Yeah. I feel like that's how that got started. And over time, they
Mhm.
even replaced members of that group.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They did.
But Shalimar definitely
Yeah, they did. They sang back up for Sylvester. There you
okay.
go.
I don't know how I kept
That's
that
something
in
you.
my head.
That's something you gotta know. No, seriously. I mean, when you think disco, Sylvester is one of the first names you got to think of when it comes to disco.
For sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
definitely.
So with Shalimar, let's see, it was Howard Hewitt, Jody Watley, and Jeffrey Daniel.
That's who it was, Jeffrey Daniels.
And
Yeah.
then you had Mickey Free, who also I think she's a current member. Gary Mumford.
Wait, Mickey Free's a guy.
Oh, well.
So Mickey Free, okay, so the whole Dave Chappelle skit about Prince playing basketball, Mickey Free was there. He played that night. So he was there. He was part of the Blouses team.
Wow.
Yeah, he tells the story about that night. He confirmed it, that it actually happened.
So Jody Watley, Gary Mumford, Gerald Brown, Delisa Davis, Mickey Free, and Sydney Justin have been past members of Shalimar.
Interesting.
Yep, and they were created by Dick Griffey and Don Cornelius. But they started off the music was ready before the group was comprised.
Okay.
Craziness. We really
Interesting.
the stuff that you find out how the sausage was made. Like I didn't know that. Now I'm sad. Well, on this Travel Thursday, of course, we have come back to the Front Porch. We have arrived from Aruba. We hope that you have enjoyed this Thursday's edition of Travel Thursday, and we look forward to seeing you on Free Your Mind Friday right here on the Front Porch. Thank you for spending the last 3 hours with us. 3 hours you will never get back.
Ever.
And remember to take care of yourselves and take care of each other. And also, don't forget to vote this coming Saturday. There are a lot of things that will impact you on the ballot. Go ahead and look that up and get started on that. And we will see y'all on the flip.
Pache.